Hello, people of the world. I am Zach Dresch, and you are listening to
The Dresch Code.
All right. Well, just before we get the show started, I want to say my co-host Ryan Howe will not be here this evening. He has to work. We miss you, Ryan. Wish you could be here, but we'll catch you in the next episode. And let's get started here. I'm going to introduce my guests: Matthew, Nick, John, and Ryan of Lost Harbor. Thank you guys for being here. How are you guys doing?
Good.
I'm John.
A simultaneous. Yeah.
That's how you are. I am John. Is that the new I am Groot?
I'm Kevin. I like to party.
Wow.
I like to party. No, you do not party. I know for a fact.
I'm the
So,
only one here that parties.
man, Nana throws the best bashes. Anyways, how this show works is I have a jar or a bucket here, or a jucket, which I've said in many episodes before. Sounds like a racial slur, but it's not. Basically,
Racing's not funny.
I pull. It is not. I pull these price decline 3x3s out of this jar, and it's a topic or a question, and we all decide does that pass or fail the Dresch Code. And if it passes, we talk about it, and if it fails, we put that question aside. We don't talk about it, and I save it for a future episode.
Sweet.
So, you guys are ready to do this?
Let's do it.
All right. Robert, are you ready to do
Born
this?
ready.
Born ready.
All right. First question. Just throwing stuff.
Ends up killing me.
Just throw shit.
How do you feel about encores? Does that pass or fail the Dresch Code?
I can pass.
I talk about that.
Yeah.
No. How do you guys feel
I
about
don't know what the parameters for the dress code are.
The-
You never went over that.
No, it doesn't really matter.
There's
It's
no
just like, do you
criteria.
get pass is like, do you all want to talk about it?
Oh, okay.
And if there's a anonymous or unanimous no, let's not talk about it, then it fails.
Okay.
So
Majority vote.
majority vote, pretty much.
Democracy.
So yeah.
Got it.
So, yeah. So pass for this
Pass.
one.
Yeah.
Why not?
Wait, pass means we are going to talk.
Pass means
about
we're
it.
talking
Okay.
about it. It does not
We're
mean
not
we're passing
passing it.
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You're so confusing.
But no, yes. How do you feel about encores?
Depends on the band.
Yeah.
Like, if it's obviously asked for, then great.
Yeah.
You ever know you run to that band that's like, oh wait, someone like joking like encore, and they're like, oh wait, really?
Yeah.
And they go for like another, much longer than.
Or just
probably
get like one of their
necessary.
friends to do it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen
Like,
that
there's
before.
ones that are forced, and there's ones that's like, obviously, if you paid money for the show and it's the headlining band,
Yeah.
that they're like saving this song for an encore.
Right.
It's like, then yeah, I'm all in. But other than that, it's like, oh geez,
Yeah.
it can be pulling teeth.
Yeah. I saw Owl City once, and that's a really cool sentence to say.
Saw him in Jefferson, South Dakota.
Yeah.
Like
Saw-
8 years ago.
Same. Yeah, and he encored with. He played everything but Fireflies and came out and says, "You guys sure you want to hear this one?"
I'm like, no,
No,
I want to leave
I'd rather not.
Owl City.
It would have been great if everybody would have laughed.
Just see the encore.
No, fuck you.
I've been to shows where the encore was like 10 songs, and that was Foo Fighters. I was
Okay,
like,
that's a little.
That's
That's
pretty cool.
understandable.
with Foo Fighters, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they're one of the few that could get away with like maybe them, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Other than that,
Green Day probably
Yeah.
could. Like bands with like 20 to 30
Right.
hits.
Yeah.
A Day to Remember did an encore of 4 songs when I saw them in Des Moines a couple years ago.
Well, that's cool.
So-
4 makes sense. 4,
Well,
like,
they
yeah.
played 19 songs.
Before the encore?
No, total. With
Total?
the encore.
Oh.
They
Well, that's
played
the thing,
15 and
too.
did 4 more. It's like, holy cow. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're always gonna hit those songs, especially when you get to the level they are, where they want to play them, but they got to play other stuff to promote, a new
New
record
album,
or something.
yeah.
So you're gonna get those ones that people want to hear, but
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a safe bet because you can, it's when you're at their level, playing 1 or 2 for an encore probably isn't gonna cut it.
right. Yeah.
well, the thing about it is they didn't play a single track from that first record, and they totally. They had probably another hour's worth of music that they could play.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's the only thing I would have known is like that first record. Would have been a really, really boring show for me.
Well, it was
But
before.
like, oh, this encore's dope. Too bad it took 2 hours to get there.
I remember I saw a Day to Remember 2 years ago with opening for Blink, and yeah, they pretty much since they were the opening act, it was like a glorified opening. So it was like
Right.
12 to 13 songs, and so they kind of had they had to cut out the deeper stuff and just get to the meat potatoes. But then they threw in a couple new songs that the audience was kind of like, I don't really want to hear this one. Like Naivety, I don't need to hear Naivety.
Well,
Has anybody ever like, hey, can you not encore that song? Has anybody ever done like as a crowd unanimously voted on that? Like, hey, actually, not that one.
Yeah. Well, I saw Weird Al 2 weeks ago, and he
Did you?
encored. It was fantastic. 5th time. And came out for the encore with the band, and he goes, "Okay, I apologize for the whole night. I've been ignoring requests. Let's turn the lights on. Get the lights on. I'm going to point to someone in the crowd. Raise your hands if you have a request you want to hear, and I'll point to you. I'll point to one person, and we get to hear what they want to hear. All right? Is that fair?" And he points to the guitarist on stage. And they want to hear it. And he goes, Rebel? Sure. And they never played that before, ever. And they learned it for the show.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That's a glorified encore right there. Like,
note to self.
Yeah.
Note to self.
and then they close with the Weird Al songs. It's like you gotta do some sort of
Right, got to reel them back in.
yeah. And then they close with Saga Begins because you know.
Right.
How can you not?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my buddy at work, he said when he went down in Des Moines, he opened with Saga Begins.
Oh.
Damn.
So
Like this tour was different. He was
Right,
changing every
yeah.
night. Like when I used to
that
sing.
sounds fun.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I like it when he changes it up because that tour that I saw 2 weeks ago was not hits. It was all deep cuts
Sure.
for the fans, like the hardcore fans that are like, I want to hear this song,
Right,
so
right.
and so. So it was like, it was awesome just to hear songs like Your Horoscope for Today, which is his take on a ska song,
Yeah,
which
sure.
is awesome.
That was the album that got me into him.
Yeah,
So I feel
yeah.
you.
Yeah, so that was awesome. And then, like, some encores, like, I think I've mentioned this on an episode before, but I saw Alice Cooper at the fair 8 or 9 years ago. He opened with School's Out and encored with School's Out.
Wait, what?
I was there too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
And I'm like, what the crap is this?
No,
Like,
dude.
I just forgot.
yeah.
It's been so long since.
So imagine him sitting down writing the set list backstage, just like, all right.
Can you imagine everybody on stage being like,
Am I missing? No! He's halfway through his story.
Yeah, that's one of those. I'm just like, do you realize what you just did? Like,
maybe he did, he just didn't care. He's like, I want to hear it twice.
But it's like, I remember one time Hands was down in Sioux City, and they did the same thing. They were out of songs that Jarek knew, so they just played one of the ones that they'd already played at the beginning of the set for the encore.
I
I've
get
seen
that
happen,
happens.
too. I've seen that happen with local shows here.
And that's one of those things that if there's a band that's huge but they only have one album out,
Yep.
that's probably bound to happen. It's if the crowd wants more and they just
Yeah.
have to repeat a song. That's really all you can do.
Or do a cover at that point if you know one.
I feel like that's a
Yeah.
weird thing to like encore with a cover.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a
Yeah.
really weird
If you have
thing.
nothing else to
Yeah, I understand that.
There's
but-
local shows back in the day here with like I think it was Life's Breath actually got encore, and they're like, we don't have another song, so they
Yeah.
played Under Oath, and then
Yeah.
everybody was cool with it. Like that became their go-to thing, you know, and it worked. But it was like they only did it local shows where it was like all local bands, so it wasn't like there was a touring band coming through that was gonna be like really.
Yeah.
Like how about Get Off the Stage? So
The couch looks
Worked
so
out
much
pretty
more
well.
spacious online.
And
That's
hi,
Ryan. Ryan is watching.
Oh, Ryan's watching?
Yeah.
There's another one too. I saw Panic at the Disco when they first came out 12,
That
13
would
years
be
ago.
awesome.
And they played Fever front to back.
Really?
And it was because that's all they had.
Right.
And then they played Eleanor Rigby and Killer Queen by Queen. Nailed
Dope.
those covers. So it's just like, that's all you need for that
Right,
set. Like,
right.
That's
kidding.
dope.
no.
That's awesome.
And now when you see them now, they play one song off Fever. And
And it's the one that they have to play.
yeah, and it's
Have you ever seen the videos online that he's like he's so tired of playing this song? Like,
Yeah.
every time the intro starts, she's like, "Fuck,"
Yeah.
like doesn't want to do it.
When do you know everybody started freaking out about whether it's a goddamn door or the goddamn
Dude, that was like
door?
the internet phenomenon.
And then he got all ambiguous about it. He's
Yeah.
like, sometimes I sing one, sometimes I sing the other. What are you gonna do about
Exactly.
it? Like, and everybody got even more
Dude, that was
upset.
like a big deal. Like what, a year or two ago? People were all about that.
There was
like
there's like a
doesn't
compilation on YouTube of before he kicks in the chorus, so when he says the groom's bride is a whore,
Yeah.
he always improvises something else.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's such a slut.
I was like,
Like-
God damn it! That's like, there's YouTube videos of that too, like every time, and it's like titled Brendan Urie hates playing this song.
I remember that video.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's a great video.
I mean, I'm almost sick of that song, and I don't have to play it every night. So.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sick of it.
I still
Love it. Really?
Yeah.
Love it.
I love every other song on that album, but that one is getting.
I am sick of Dance Dance. But it's, I know it's Fall Out Boy, but
I was gonna
still-
say,
I was gonna say, I see what you did there.
it's
I
the
like
same
that song
thing.
still.
I still do, but I'm like,
Did he help write that song? Maybe.
I don't know.
I feel like he's much younger.
Fall Out Boy was about 3 or 4 years older, I think,
Yeah.
than Brendan.
Yeah, pretty sure he's much younger than that, so it'd be kind
Did
of
that album
weird.
come out around the same time?
Yeah. Or Cork Tree was 2005. Fever was like later 2005, and then Cork Tree was earlier.
Yeah. So at that point, what's his face? The bassist for Fall Out Boy.
Oh, Pete Wentz.
Yeah. At that point, he had already started Fueled by Ramen and
Yeah.
had gotten a hold of Brendan, so it's
Yeah.
possible he was involved.
Yeah, I think at that Pete Wentz is like 5 or 6 years older than the rest of the band.
Yeah, he's a lot older than the rest of those guys.
I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, Patrick's only like 33 and Pete's like 38. I think
Interesting.
it's weird to think that Pete's nearing 40.
I couldn't imagine
Yeah.
their encore or their show in general now.
Their
They're
show,
taking
I
so
don't
many
even want to
turns.
see him anymore.
I don't
Dude,
know.
that new album.
They played. They opened Game 4, I think, at the Stanley Cup Final. They played like before the game started,
Yeah.
and it was terrible.
Yeah.
I was like, "What the hell is going on?" They played some weird electronic song off their new record.
Did
and
they
it
have
was-
guitars?
That's everything
Did
they
have
do.
guitars?
yeah, but it was really awkward because it was not evident at all. Like,
Yeah.
There's no
Basically,
guitars
like-
in the songs.
but you know how it is. Like, they don't do it like live. They play like guitar, but it's, I don't know. It just sounds really, really funky. And Patrick was playing piano for someone, then he'd be standing up and singing. But like, even the lyrics were like really repetitive, and it was really obvious what he was doing. But like, I don't know. It's just kind of awkward all around. Like, even the crowd, like they painted the crowd, and then you could tell they're like, let's not do that again. The whole crowd was kind of like, this is not what we were hoping for.
Were the guitars plugged into like the
I don't
the
know.
Electro Harmonics Mel 9s or whatever, so they get
They
like,
don't.
the
They don't do
sounds and stuff.
They don't do it on the pedal boards. No, they don't, you know, not during the Stanley Cup. They don't do it on
Target
the
audience is
pedal
guitar
boards, you
players.
know.
So.
I think
They're like, hey, well, it's Pete Wentz Rockin' Day. Let's check that out. You know, back to you, Ovechkin.
I caught him at the perfect time. I caught him on the Save Rock and Roll tour in a
Yeah.
club, and that was
I
like
hate
right
you.
before they went back to the arenas and
Sure.
then crap the bed. And so basically, like that set list, I got like the new stuff, which the Save Rock and Roll at least is passable.
Yeah,
Everything
there's a
after that
couple
was
tracks on it
just-
that are cringy, and then there's a couple like Save Rock and Roll in general. Like
That's a
Elton
great
John on. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. So
I
at
was
least
so impressed they got him for a track. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
not
I
so much with Courtney
mean-
Love, but
When you got the money, Fall Out Boy does.
Yeah.
Elton John's like, sure, I'll take a scratch. Why not?
yeah.
I got nothing going on today.
Yeah, when I saw them, they played a couple of "Take This to Your Grave" deep cuts, and I was
kidding.
stoked. No one else knew it. Well, like they played "Tell That Mick," and I'm like, oh
man.
shit. And then like 2 or 3 of my friends that we all road tripped were like, yeah, and everyone else was like, what is this?
Right.
And then they played a song off Save Rock and Roll that wasn't even a single, and they freaked out. I'm like, what? Like,
God, yeah, that album was tough for me. Like, it had a couple good songs, but the majority as a whole, I was like, I think I'm let down.
yeah. Comment on the dress code. Are the last 3 Fall Out Boy albums garbage? Let us know.
I would say definitely not the last 3.
I can't even tell you what the last 3 are. I checked out after Save Rock and Roll. Did
Yeah, they had
have-
American
Wasn't
Beauty,
sick.
American Psycho,
Yep.
and then they
Okay.
had Mania, which just came out.
American Beauty had a couple tracks on it that I was okay with, but for the most part, I was like, okay, these guys are going downhill.
Yeah.
And
American Beauty.
then Mania.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not from a Moose Blood lyric.
I love that song.
Yeah, Mania had a couple of decent tracks. I think that's how it's going to go. The rest of their albums is going to have 1 or 2 good songs, and the rest is just...
I don't even think Mania has one good track, dude.
I like
Infinity
one.
on
There's like
High
one.
was where I really checked out after that. I was like,
Oh, dude, I
Folia
love
Dude's awesome.
that album. So same, Folia
Yeah.
Dude.
that one has a
amazing.
good, couple good ones on it for me, but Infinity on High was, like, in my opinion, their last, like, golden record that I was like, I could listen to that front to
Oh,
back.
sure.
After that, I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. I get it, but I'm like, I'm sad.
See, I feel like Folia Dude was like,
That's my
all
last.
right,
favorite.
same. I feel like that was where they were like, okay, now we're gonna break up and do our own thing. So they were just putting this thing out, and then now they got
See,
back
that's-
together
yeah,
to
that's
make
why
some more money, and it's just
But
not
see, that
the
album, that's
same.
where I felt like they were like, let's try some new things, but they kind of like one foot out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
Like I feel like they put the best stuff in
Like-
Infinity on High. Like it was like what Fall Out Boy fans like knew and loved originally, and they just kind of culminated it into that. And then they're like, well, we'll try a little more like mature style in this next record.
Well, there was that one track they did with Pharrell that was really weird.
Yeah, well,
Whams
there's
or
usually a
whatever
few
it
of
was.
those mixed in there.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, that's
we
like
got
a
heavily in, we got heavily
Encore is the Fall Out Boy.
We got
You can't talk about music with me and Nick, man. We'll go for a minute. Like,
There's gonna be a lot of music questions.
I
think.
like it.
All right. Why do people think Ghost is good? Should we talk about this?
I don't know enough about them to comment other than I'm
Oh, I
not
thought they
a
meant the
fan.
movie with Patrick
No.
Swayze.
Yes,
I was thinking the scene with the pool.
I didn't
was like,
know,
that's why.
I didn't know
That's
that
the-
existed as a band or like anything about them until they were mentioned in the last episode
Oh,
of Dress
okay.
Code. So I was
Alright.
making a joke about Ghost.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Do we want to fail that one?
I don't want to talk about that topic, but I
Fail.
know what the answer is.
I'd say
Yeah.
fail. So we don't really know what
Yeah.
to say about it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Save that one for.
I mean,
next
unless
week.
Ron really wants to rip on Patrick Swayze for a couple
Rip on him. That
minutes.
movie was a masterpiece.
That's what I'm saying. We can rip on him. Let him go.
The person that came up with that question is going to be on the next episode, so I'll save it for that one.
The answers will be.
I need to make sure I tune in next week so I can comment as well, because I do have a thought on that.
Yeah. I do like Ghost Whip, is all I'm saying. But, like, alright. Next topic. What's a vice for each of you?
Pass.
Well, I've got
Pass,
a few.
I'll talk about
I've got
that
a few
one.
vice grips in my garage, if that's what we're.
Not vice grips,
Oh,
but,
okay.
like, a thing that you have to.
Oh.
Like, should we
that
talk about-
kind of
I'm
vice.
glad you explained that because I can tell John's over here like, what
I'm
the
like,
hell
what
does
the
that
hell
mean?
is
He's like, I
Vice,
don't
yeah.
want to ask, but what the fuck is that?
What's something that you need to get through the day? That's what that means.
I'll pass on that one.
I'll talk about that one.
I'm down. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's start with you, John.
John.
Oh God, dude.
There's the break. We need a count.
I don't even
God,
know.
yeah,
When I get
God.
off work, I just drum. I don't know.
There you go.
I need that. I need a good drum solo after work. Dude.
Headphones.
I'm really glad you got that second drum set now. Then. he used to hit me up like once a week. Hey, are you busy? Can I come drum? I'm like, dude, I got my kids tonight. Like,
Yeah.
and then John would get all crybaby over there. Like, oh man, I can't hang out with my drum set.
Mine's simple. Headphones. I work at an office job, which is thankfully very, very slack. So I literally listen to music and podcasts all day long. Nobody bothers me. If I forget them, then I have to listen to everybody else talk,
Sure.
which nobody wants to hear that. So I listen to music all day long and just whatever I want, or YouTube videos, all that stuff in between while I'm working. Just set it and go.
Yep.
So you can learn a lot of stuff. Find a good podcast and just let it go and work at your own pace, and before you know it, the work day's done. So headphones for sure. If I forget them, it's a sad day.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube conspiracy videos.
Dude,
Those
rabbit hole.
I have this. I've talked about it on my other podcast. I have this game I play called the Rabbit Hole.
Sure.
See how far the rabbit hole
I'm
will go.
familiar with the rabbit
So
hole.
you watch the most fucked up, because you've done this multiple times
Yeah.
before. You have a few truly fucked up ones in your recommendations. You take the most fucked up one there, and then after that video is finished, you drop down to the
Yep.
next playlist
Yep.
and go,
Get
okay, that
way
was
down
really
deep,
fucked
yeah.
up. Alien, Nephilim, New World Order orgies. Okay, yeah, let's go.
Well, you start hitting videos with like 3 views, and you're still just like, no, it's worth it. It's
Yeah.
worth the watch.
Those are the best. Those are the deep cuts.
I went hard in the rabbit hole last week about the conspiracy of Kanye West getting behind Trump to promote his new album. And I was like an hour in, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I got mad at that.
Dude,
Like, how Yeezys
Jesus.
and all those conspiracy to sell more Yeezys, and I'm just like, Jesus, the Dean would be proud of me, but other than that, nobody's gonna care. It's like I can't talk about this to anybody because they're gonna be like, why the fuck did you even start down that rabbit hole?
Dude, YouTube
So-
will do that to you,
Dude,
though,
it's
man.
easy.
I got deep in the courtroom shows today at work because I do the same thing. Like,
Nice.
just plug in and oh man, some of those ratchet girls.
Yeah, I
on
had a
there,
lot of
good
Dr.
God.
Phil in my recommendations once.
Yeah, I ended
It
up
was a weird time.
Yeah. Today, so when I play bass, I finger pick. I don't use a pick at all, and I spent 3 hours looking at speed picking technique videos today. play
That's
pick
cool.
for maybe 2 weeks, but I'm just sitting there like, oh, how do I do this the fastest?
That's,
like I don't even know how to.
productive.
Yeah, that's better than Kanye West, man. I'll give you that. That's a good rabbit hole. Productive rabbit holes is good to go. Like, I can go down some John Mayer rabbit holes fast.
Oh, dude, I go down music theory rabbit holes all day.
I
Like
know, you send them all.
every once in a while, I'm like all throughout my work day, I'm sending Nick like music theory videos. Like, hey, check this out, check this out. Check
I'm in the
this
middle
out.
of a YouTube video about Kanye West and Yeezys, and it's like bing, 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 bing. Important shit. I'm like, oh, man.
There's a John Mayer rabbit hole playlist at Hy-Vee.
Is there?
Not literally, but
Oh, there
I
should
feel
be.
like there always is. Like whenever I'm looking, I hear "No Such Thing" or "Your Body's
Yeah.
a Wonderland" or "Say."
Waiting
or
on the World to
World's
Change.
It's like every 2 seconds. It's just
Yep.
say what you need to say.
Shut that shit off.
Walking like a one man army.
Beautiful.
And then you
That's actually really good. That's how you can tell he
Mary Morgan
spends time in
Freeman's
Hy-Vee.
ashes on Everest.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Rest in peace, bucket list.
Yeah.
My vice is caffeine. by the
Same.
way, so.
Same.
Ryan,
And Kanye. That's my other vice.
Hey.
Hold on, Ryan, what is your vice?
I'm a really big fan of the song "Like a Prayer" by Madonna.
Great.
I
song.
probably listen to that
I
once a day.
fucking love that song.
Yeah, isn't it amazing?
I get. Seriously, we need a hanger.
Yeah, I was like, if I'm having
I
a
get
bad
in this like thing where I'll like wake up one random morning in June with inexplicably no reason why. There's just like a 80s song. They're like right before this wave of like rain in Africa thing because of Weezer
Oh,
started.
Hey,
Yeah.
totally.
You know, like a random day, I'll be like, I have to listen to that song like 30 times. This is my jam, like all day. And yeah, that one
Yep.
too.
Yep.
Like a prayer. It's just like, I'll take you there.
Yeah, like, honestly, I'm terrible. I don't even know most of the lyrics. Like, I know the chorus, but I listen to that song like every day. And I
You're
just
tracked
check
out
it
of
out.
that session. You just ruined it, man.
It just, something about that black Jesus just,
I don't even know what song you're talking about. I need to leave. I'm gonna get kicked out.
Like a prayer?
I don't listen to Madonna, man.
like a
Like,
prayer.
I
I'll
don't
take you there.
I listen to you guys talk about Fall Out Boy
You'll
for
have
so
me
long.
down
Do you
on
guys
my
seriously
knees.
not know that song?
You've heard it. You'll hear it and be like, oh, I know. Okay.
I
Yeah.
said my mother's gonna be super disappointed in me, but
I actually yesterday I happened across a video of a really small organization pro wrestler that his entrance music is Like a Prayer by Madonna, and it's just
That's amazing.
It's perfect.
I won't tell Warner Brothers Records if you guys don't.
hey man, you stay with me.
I've actually got
your
them
podcast,
on
man.
speed dial
Do you?
on call, like they're listening.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's going. Okay.
How the audio comes through those now.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, come on, you guys believe I didn't know this? That's a weird video though.
Dude, Madonna was a lady back in the day.
Yeah, it's not a music video that
40
they're
years
happy to
ago.
watch. It's just
Yeah.
Isn't that the weird part? Like she's like 40 years ago.
Well, if you see her like though, like a live performance now, it's just kind of like from a distance she'd look okay, but with high def or close, it's just kind of like, oh my god!
Too much worship of the Dark Lord for
Yeah.
her at this point.
The Kabbalah is all backfired. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed of myself.
you should be.
You should be.
My mom's gonna beat me.
Shall we move on to the
Yeah,
next?
Yeah, let's end on that. Let's end on that.
Yeah. I will hear about it.
She's a huge Madonna fan.
She is. She is.
Next topic. All right, let's see here. Why do songwriters prefer to just put in bad song lyrics rather than just have a great song with no lyrics? I'd talk about that.
Yeah, we can do that. For
I mean,
sure.
we can.
Pass?
I don't know how to answer that question, but sure.
I can, and short, they're stupid.
Yeah.
What's instrumentals?
Well, like,
Like just
would you rather have a really good song with shitty lyrics and no like very very plain melodies and stuff, or would you just rather have no lyrics or melodies at all, just instrumentals? Like make an
It's a hard
interlude.
question.
Never mind.
Oh.
Sorry, I squirreled out for a second. Excuse me.
No, we had someone commenting, who is that voice off camera? So I just popped on.
Oh, okay.
Let them know what's up. No, I'd rather just like write a solid instrumental and let that be the case, rather than try to fill it out. Like if the lyrics and the melodies aren't there, if you kind of like we've done that where we've written songs that we literally just can't put melodies to or lyrics, but like the song itself sounds cool, but it's just like we'd be kind of forcing it at this point to try and finish it just to play it live, and it probably wouldn't sound as good as like we were hoping. So it's like we just scrapped it all together. But like it's something we could always touch base and rework. But yeah, I would rather either make it an interlude or some form of instrumental, or just scrap it all together and throw some half-ass lyrics and melodies on it just to call it a song.
Yeah.
We did that with the bridge on Discourse.
We've done that on a
actually.
few things, you know, like we've done it on a few tracks, and some we were able to work it out, and some we weren't. And, you know, we don't play those songs anymore for those reasons, obviously. Or never even finished writing them, so.
For me, it's like if the lyrics aren't somewhat full of substance, then it's not for me.
Yeah.
That's how I've always been. Fun story, weird name drop too. My dad recorded an album in L.A. and got to work with the engineer who recorded a couple Offspring albums, and they said that Dexter would write lyrics like right before he got in to record the vocal part. And so I'm just like, so apparently a lot of Ixnay on the Ombre tracks. There's a lot of last minute lyrics written in there.
Right on.
Well, when you're good at what you
that.
do, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
But that begs the question: if he sat down and actually thought it through, would it have been better or would it have been worse? I guess if that's your niche, you know, you just get in and like, let's just do it. You know.
Well, that's like the poem that I put up on my Instagram today. I wrote it today at work,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
John loves it.
well, I had a bunch of
didn't see
people.
it,
I had
I
a bunch
still
of people
can't, yeah.
comment on it right away, or send it to me, like, hey, you know, really like this, and I'm just sitting here like,
Was it on your personal?
yeah, on my personal Instagram.
gonna say,
Yeah, I
if you wrote
posted
a
it
poetry
like
one, I should probably-
I wrote it in maybe 20 minutes, and
Dude,
so
that's
I mean, granted, it's like a verse, but I mean,
Yeah.
Wait, are you plugging your poems right now?
I sure am.
Darn, that was an adventure here.
Darn right I am.
I was waiting for the name, like the tag in there. By the way, it's Matthew, poetry.com.
Yeah, no, if we're talking about name drops, yeah, I used to play in a band with a really famous poet. His name was Matthew. Yes.
I thought you were being serious. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Poe and I were in a band.
Yeah.
Called it the Ravens. Never more.
Jesus.
Just got real English up in here.
Yeah. What do you feel on that, John? Because we wrote that 174 BPM, and I know you wanted to keep it. You even said that. Like, can we just play without lyrics? Remember you saying that?
We
They were like,
For anybody that's curious, the reason he called it that is because when we didn't even have a working title for it,
No,
and it was
we
the
didn't
only
get that far.
song.
Do we call it mirrors?
No,
No.
that's 152.
Oh, okay.
So we start a song and we'll write the music first generally, and our working title until we have at least something lyrically to give it a title is always the BPM.
Yeah.
So
we played it with click tracks, so whatever he sets it out, and then we're just like, let's play 110, 152, whatever it is.
Problem with
so.
that is that you get so used to, you know, the number that's associated with it, you know, the beats per minute. All of a sudden we get a name for it, and everybody's looking around like, what song is this?
Yeah.
Well, that's John anyway.
No,
who's getting
that's
names
you
to it.
two. That's you two over there.
I still like when
we
we
have
when we
names
play
for it
live-
for like 6 months, and where John's like, wait, which one's that?
Yeah, well,
We're
when we
like,
play live
146.
shows,
Oh.
when we play live shows, I don't look at our set list. We get a set list typed down, and I'm like, I'm not 100% sure on the names. I'm just gonna, I know what order we put the songs in.
Just hope you start playing the right song. Whoops.
During Disarm shows, Bobby, our guitarist, and singer, he always goes, "Wait, what song is this?" And then he'll like quickly play the riff silently on stage and go, "I know this song."
I have to do that with 152 every once in a while.
Yeah.
Or mirrors. Is it mirrors or mirror? You're the one who named it.
It's mirrors.
The
Mirrors.
Multiple?
Yeah,
multiple.
multiple,
Okay.
multiple mirrors.
All right, cool.
Plural.
He and I got into it a little bit because I can't stand people who say mirror, like one syllable, because there's two syllables to that word.
Mirror, like
Yeah.
that.
Mirrors.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Mirrors.
mirrors.
Dot mirrors.
Don't mirrors.
Dot mirrors.
It's like when people say cordial. I can't fucking stand that word. I don't know why I hate that
I was gonna
word.
make a wine and spirits joke, but
I don't mind. I don't mind moist, but I can't stand the word cordial.
Cordial?
Yeah,
I feel like I use that word a lot.
you do. It's annoying. I never say anything.
That's when I knew the band wouldn't last.
This is the exact moment.
There's a Kids in the Hall sketch comedy skit where this guy gets fired from his job because he uses the word ascertain too much. I ascertain that people are just jealous of me. They're jealous of my ascertaination. Like,
It's every form of it you can imagine.
if you don't back off that word, I.
Jeez.
What was this from?
There's a sketch comedy show from the early '90s called Kids in the Hall.
It's a bunch of Canadians.
Yeah, it's like
Well,
Canadian
it's fucking
SNL.
hilarious.
So of course it's a hilarious thing.
Yeah. And so the skits are not really pop culture related. They're just random concept skits, and just simple little.
Like
this
a
guy-
slightly less stoned Monty Python.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say so. And that's one of the
Monty
best
Python's
skits.
British. None of them were stoned.
That's what you
I just mean
think.
in the interpretation of
Oh.
it. It's a little less abstracty, more concrete, but still has the silly.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You realize that
Less women
Britain
in
was more known for
dresses.
stoning than anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
There it is.
Boom.
More than
No,
Israel.
That was a complete lie. I just needed to get the statement in.
Oh, I was backing you.
If there's
I
ever
was all in.
any
Get
history
him.
buffs are watching, they're like, go on, comment.
Bring it on.
Oh, Lee Comment.
There's like a 5-minute delay on that goddamn.
That makes it even better though.
Yeah.
Right when you're finally starting to forget about it, when it's kind of like, okay, we're moving on from that one. Comes in, you're like, oh shit.
I ascertain we move on to the next topic. All
I feel
right.
like that's the wrong use of that word. Coming in clutch with the sound effects over there.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, I have to say this real quick.
Yeah.
That reminds me of when my very first recording session with my old band with your dad.
Yeah.
And the entire session, every time somebody would say something, he'd push the little soundboard on his phone, and it would be a different version of That's What She Said. All day. He must have hit that thing at least 100 times. It was insane.
That's awesome.
Like, it got to the point where even I was annoyed with it.
Can you imagine if he commented on that right now? That's what she said. What would you do? He's tiny. Hey.
This one, this will be an interesting one. What are your thoughts on the growing number of complaints about comedians saying offensive jokes?
Pass. Let's do
Yes,
it.
I'll talk about
Pass.
that one. I'll
Yeah.
talk about that one.
See, y'all are saying
You
pass,
guys-
and I think that
Yeah,
you're trying
well,
to
I hear-
not...
I hear
Fail
pass and
is
I'm like,
fail.
okay, we're not talking about
Fail.
that.
It
Fail
took
is
me
fail.
3 weeks to get it down. Because that's why I didn't comment for the first 2 episodes. Was I was just like, oh, we're passing, so I don't need to think about this. And then Zach would be like, what's your opinion?
I like it.
That's awesome.
I'll talk about it.
All right.
Yeah, you start. You're a comedian.
Alright.
You're the aspiring comedian. How long do you
Alright.
take
He's
that?
not aspiring.
Aspiring.
I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not a career, but I'd like to make it one. It's
Yeah.
one. That's
Okay.
how I would phrase it.
Okay.
Try to be cordial. Come on.
Fuck you.
It's one of those things. I feel like I watched a lot of old comedy from like the '90s and stuff.
Sure.
So it's one of those things that I feel like a lot of the times, even the smallest thing, people get offended by that, and I'm just like, it's a joke.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what you're here for.
Yeah.
Right.
To laugh.
and the same token, I love offensive humor, but if it's clever,
Yes.
I'm kind of in that wheelhouse where it's like if there's something to say and it's funny, great, do it, even if
Right.
it's dirty, whatever. But it's one of those things that I think sometimes certain things, comics that do certain bits or skits, people need to.
Could dial it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I listen to Rogan's podcast a lot, so he always talks about Andrew Clay Dice.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dice Clay, excuse me. And you know, like there's times when I'm like he's hilarious, and there's other times it's like, oh man.
His stuff, in my opinion, is very dated. Oh, if you ever see Andrew Dice Clay, he's basically considered one of the most misogynistic.
Oh, he would
comedians
never
of
make
all
it
time.
in
Is
today's
that-
day and age.
Is that his?
No.
Is that his? Just character.
That's
though?
how
It's
he's
kind of
Play,
both.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is he playing a character though?
I would say probably not. Like
Yeah.
he's everything
Probably
he's saying is
genuinely.
100% in, but it's like
Yeah,
for the sake of comedy. But it's like he also probably
believes
in
that.
it.
Yeah.
Like you have to go. Like I'm not gonna say it because it's some of the things he would say. Like I mean, he wouldn't make it today's day and age at all. Like,
Sure.
you know.
I think he still does stand up.
Does he?
But he probably watches what he says a little more.
Yeah.
But then
But if he
again-
was like starting out now, trying to come in
Yeah.
that hot, there's no way.
Yeah.
Not a chance he'd be. Says a lot of things about, you know, like that would be deemed racist, women, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like he's
Sure.
you know, the topics back in like when like the 60s and 70s when it was like, oh, that's kind of funny, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like honestly, I don't think George Carlin would make it nowadays.
Yeah.
If he
With
was
the whole-
just starting
Yeah,
out,
like
the whole
probably.
past
SJW
tense.
stuff. Well, the other thing I think is interesting because I don't know enough comedians. Like I have no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah.
With Andrew Dice Clay, but serious, I don't. Andrew Clay Dice.
Little
You have to go look it up.
on
No
the
idea.
buffet.
Go look it up later
Yeah.
and you'll
Okay.
understand real quick. You won't forget him.
But I feel like because of the way social media and like Vine for a while and YouTube and stuff like that, there's so many more comedians
Mhm.
that.
Use that loosely.
What do you mean?
Oh, a 6-second clip of somebody making something funny, I wouldn't consider him a comedian. Like,
Fair.
It's like, they got to
Fair,
put time
but-
into writing material and performing it, whether it's, a theater or a local open mic, like they got to...
Right, but I
In my
mean,
opinion,
but
pay
but
their
the
dues.
thing that was cool about Vine when it was around for like a comedian, like they could test out a joke, and if it just bombed, okay, cool, don't use that. Oh, this one was really popular.
I still don't
cool.
recognize him. I don't think I've ever heard of Andrew Dice Clay.
I recognize him a little bit.
He was huge in the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
And then he...
I was just like staring down the camera
He
for a
dropped
second
out.
when he moved that away. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
dude.
There was one cast member, he hosted Saturday Night Live once, and one of the cast members refused to take part in the episode. It was
Yeah.
a female cast member, because he's like,
Yeah.
most of
That's
the
what I mean,
misogynistic comic, I just cannot do it.
Some people can't get behind him, that's why he fell off, like, kind of quick.
Pretty
It's just
quick.
like-
And then, even in 94, people were like, this is a little too much. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one comedian, like, way back in the day, I think he died. He used to, like, yell a lot, like, crazy yelling. I don't know.
Sam Kinison?
That's him.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
dude's crazy,
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. We got a couple of comments. Offensive is fine as long as the people it targets can defend themselves. And targeting people with mental disabilities simply
Fuck off,
because they're
Jeff.
unable to respond is cowardly. And I agree with that. It's one of those things that any comic that does jokes about that, or at least
Yeah.
that in terms of like pointing a finger at that one, just like why do you do that?
Right.
Hey,
Well,
Jeff, fuck you.
that's what I saw too. I'm like, hey man, I just fight you.
Like, I heard you say that, and I'm like, wait, what? Oh,
When's the last time the Devils or the Wild have won a cup?
Oh.
Come at me, bro. Was that right there?
Yeah, right there.
Who's he like? Who's he like?
The Devils
The
and the
Devils. Yeah.
Wild.
How many Olympic gold medals? Olympic gold medalists are on his team?
Well, there's a bunch of Canadians, so probably a few.
Well, yeah, but they're all Canadians.
Yeah. But
So what?
That's pretty much
they
every
not
hockey
count
team.
because they're Canadian?
That's pretty much every
No,
hockey
that's not what
team,
I'm
so.
saying. I'm just saying, like, they're from Canada, so of course they have a bunch of gold medals in hockey.
I'm not
I
seeing what
lost
the
you.
point is. I'm not seeing what the point was.
You don't have
Anyway.
Lost ya. Thanks, Jeff.
Where were we?
to. Love you, Jeff.
I think we're moving to the next question.
Damn, is what Jeff commented with.
Roasted. I think Jeff's doing stand up now, actually.
Yeah,
He's been
he
trying
did his
it
first
out.
set last week. He was great.
Nice.
Well done, Jeff. But yeah.
I'll have to come talk to
We
I'll
should-
have to come see it and heckle him.
Yeah.
No, I'm with that. Dude. Like you can, like offensive's all right to an extent. Like obviously, like they said, if you can defend it, that's always
Yeah.
good. If like somebody, if they know you're not 100%, like if they know, like once you jump off, you can be like, hey, I'm really not. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Like people can see through. If it's transparent enough, then it's like, all right. Because I feel like most comedians like have to be offensive
Yeah.
to an extent.
If you're clever, whatever.
Yeah.
But I saw Carlos Mencia last year. One of
Did
the
you?
worst things I've ever seen. He's so
fell
regressive and
Really?
so like he was saying every racial slur in the book. You name it, he said it.
I love autocorrect.
the Ducks? What the hell?
Oh man.
Friggin' bandwagoners over here.
Oh, man. But no, yeah, Mencia, man, I didn't even know he was still doing comedy.
Oh, he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
In my
After
personal
Rogan kind of
opinion.
outed him and slayed him, I was like,
Yeah. Now,
should
if he
call
don't-
it.
now he barely plays anywhere. 'Cause it's
rightfully
small
so.
clubs.
People caught on.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's one of those things that he got caught being a joke stealer.
Yeah.
That was pretty
From
much.
guys he never thought was gonna make it. If you don't know the story, you know.
He would go to open mics, seeing
them,
people
yeah.
stealing their jokes, and just.
Ari Shaffir,
Yeah.
one of the main guys, and that's why Joe Rogan's one of his good buddies, because this guy Ari Shaffir used to be the doorman at the comedy club in LA, and now he's like a famous comedian. He started from being the doorman there, and Mencia used to see him do open mics and steal his jokes. So
Whatever.
Rogan called him out on it, like
Yeah.
in front of everybody, and outed him.
Jeez.
Well, didn't Amy Schumer get accused of that hardcore too?
Yeah.
Whatever
And
happens
That's a
to
lot of
still
things
does,
she
yeah.
still does, but that's
She
a lot of
ignores
things with
it.
her. Yeah, she ignores. She just says, "Well, my writers do it." She's saying she doesn't write her own jokes anymore, so it's like
I feel like that's
she's kind of
not
hiding behind it, whether
too
it's
much
true
of
or not.
Like a redeeming thing.
No,
That doesn't
no,
make it any better.
no, but that's what it's like. She kind of just deters it and is like, "I'm not gonna talk."
She's a
about
moderately attractive white woman, so it's cool.
it. Right. She's okay with her image. You should be too.
Yeah.
And her jokes.
I don't think she's funny. I don't think she's attractive. So I was kind of hoping this was gonna take her
Can
down.
we all agree Trainwreck sucked?
What's that?
Trainwreck sucked. Let me see that.
I liked it
Yes.
mainly because of Bill Hader, because I'm a huge Bill Hader fan.
He was the LeBron James was actually funny in that.
Yeah, John Cena was great.
Wait. LeBron James and John Cena were in this shit?
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody in that movie that was good was not Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds about right for her.
But it was her movie. It was like her breakout, movie and role and all
Okay.
that.
Dude, LeBron James, who is not an actor, upstaged her. She should maybe.
Well,
pick
Bill
a different
Hader scores
career.
on him. He gets super pumped about it, and I was like, "Hey, I get pumped for him. Let's go, Bill.
Should we move on to the next topic?
Let's do it."
Probably.
I ascertain that we do. I'm going to direct that joke.
I'm gonna go on an Amy Schumer's terrible reign.
For the record here, we're 43 minutes in, and I think we've only covered like 3 questions, right?
That's
Oh.
good.
Right,
I think that's good. So we got.
shut up.
No, what's your favorite super group?
Super group.
Like famous people gathered together.
I was gonna say, we're talking like bands or like
Band.
Marvel DC universe. Like, what are we talking?
Band.
Band.
I think band.
Band probably for this one.
Oh, super group. That's tough.
Blink.
Pass.
Pass.
Are we talking about?
We're talking about it.
Oh
Pass.
God! Oh God! Don't move.
This is gonna be a.
No,
the name of this episode should be. Wait, what does
Yeah.
pass mean?
right? Yeah. The first 43 minutes are just, like getting down the basics. Pass or fail.
Is it pass, fail, or?
No, let's pass that one.
The,
Alright,
the,
Go ahead, John.
the damned things is great.
The damn thing.
That's-
Hold on, I want to hear John's response to this first, please.
No, I'm confused.
That's why I was like, Blink is a
that are in
super
different
group?
bands coming together to form their own. Oh, got
That's
you.
what-
Which I
call
guess
super group.
technically now
Yeah,
Blank would
technically.
be.
Yeah, because they all did
Yeah,
other
yeah.
stuff.
Alkaline and Aquabats and.
So go ahead, John.
You know, that's my answer.
Let's just go Blink.
Yeah.
Save myself.
Blake who? Make sure the fans that.
Oh my God.
41.
What?
Yeah.
Blink 41.
Honestly, I cannot think of a supergroup off the top of my head that like I can say I'm a fan of.
Toto.
Like I'm into. Toto, is that what you said? Are they a supergroup?
Yeah.
I would. Is Madonna a supergroup too?
Well, I mean, she's her own supergroup.
True.
I thought she was Super Tramp.
I seriously, I don't know. You got a supergroup?
I mean, Velvet Revolver was
Oh, yeah.
okay for half a second, but that's just because Slash was in it.
Oh, I love Scott Weiland though.
AC/DC's kind of a super group because Axl Rose is in it now,
Yeah.
but he's terrible.
So how's that
Every
supergroup?
episode we
They
talk
got- they
about.
went down.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Oh, Chickenfoot.
well, Blink-182
Chickenfoot,
became a
never heard of
supergroup because what's his face came from Alkaline Trio, but they're worse because of it. So I don't know.
Is Def Leppard still a band?
Yeah.
Do they still have the drummer with one arm?
Yeah.
Yep.
Can
Supergroup.
you call that a supergroup?
It's all the
Is that
same
Paul?
dudes.
I know,
It's all
but-
the same dudes
but,
still, except for the guy that
I
died
mean,
from alcohol.
Can we
related
just like
whatever?
They should be like classified as supergroup just because he's drumming with one arm.
Also, you should really work on getting an opening gig for Def Leppard.
Yeah. That's right.
Are you talking to me or him?
No, him, the Disarmed.
Oh.
You set that up so well. When you sign up for your first open mic, 2-week meeting.
You win the internet today.
I'll take it. I messed up the Britain comment, so we're
You're,
I get it back.
you're getting a microphone from now on. Just, So if my loop fails, you
We'll
have to
go into
tell,
comedy
you have to tell
skit.
jokes.
Yeah.
now you're stealing his job. You're gonna be a comedian. First, you're stealing his fro. You guys got it going on. It's dual.
How am I supposed to make it in the podcast world if I don't, take over somebody else's?
If I don't steal what you got going on. Well, you do. You guys are gonna bond over Madonna.
He's going the way of
exactly.
Amy Schumer and Carlos Mencia.
Oh.
Just stealing shit from other comics.
Yeah.
It's the way to do
It's
it.
just not the jokes.
No, it's
just
not-
everything
it's
else.
just everything else.
Yeah. Well, I'll have instead of a section, I'll have 2 couches, set up. And,
2 bump seats.
yeah.
Yeah, Chickenfoot is
Like this?
I've never
or-
heard of chicken food. Who is
Like
it?
it's Sammy Hagar,
One on each.
Joe Satriani,
I already don't
and
like it.
Chad Smith from Red Hot Chili Peppers is drumming.
What's
Really?
wrong with any of the people that?
Yeah.
And
what's
bass,
this mentioned?
I-
What's wrong with you?
God, the
I'm not a
bassist is
Satriani
escaping me.
fan
Really?
At all.
Get out.
Oh, I like Satriani.
I remember the bassist.
Fuck you.
I can't remember the bassist.
It's all good. It's just the bass.
Yeah, it's just the basis.
What if it's Flea and I'm really I drop it?
Ooh.
Oh, I don't think it's Flea. But
Yeah.
God, who is the bassist?
It's like Tyler from
Oh, Michael Anthony
Private Drive.
from Goddamn. I should
It's
have
just
known
a side
Sammy
gig.
Hagar and Michael Anthony are in everything together.
Sure.
So it's like
Interesting. I've never heard of him.
like together.
Who was the first one you said?
the Damned Things.
The Damned
It's Keith from Every Time I Die is the vocalist.
Really?
And Joe and Andy from Fall Out Boy are guitar and drums, and then Scott Ian and Rob Caggiano from Anthrax. This is
No
the
shit.
weirdest super
That
group.
is the weirdest.
That
group
one
ever.
actually sounds
They
interesting
shred.
to check out.
It's great.
Well, all
They
the
had
guys,
one album.
Well, all the guys in Fall Out Boy used to be in hardcore bands.
Yeah.
So that didn't
Yeah.
surprise me. Is Shai Hulud technically a supergroup?
No.
I guess because that was
All
with
those-
Chad before
Yeah.
Newfound Glory, right?
Well,
Yeah.
still,
Still, it's still going. Yeah.
he still comes in
Every once
and
in a while.
writes and stuff like
Never
that. And-
officially broke up.
well, and the other guys
It's
are in other
complicated.
bands too.
Yeah.
So
That's what they set their profile as. It's complicated.
Yeah.
Just leave it for a couple years.
I did see Dead Cross last year, which is Mike Catton from Faith No More,
Sure.
and Dave Lombardo from Slayer is the
No
drummer, and then their guitarists and bassists are from the Locust, hardcore band, and it's pretty intense.
I feel like we weren't prepared for a supergroup question.
I was anybody.
I figured it out.
What's
No,
that?
it's Austrian Death Machine, and I don't care
Yeah.
how much hate I get for it.
I was gonna say that just now. Actually, now that he's out of jail, can we is
Well,
that gonna happen?
Technically, As I Lay Dying is too, because all the other guys were in Woven War.
They
and
played a
he's
show
an
the other
Austrian
night,
Death Machine,
actually.
and they just got back together
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I Lay Dying.
That's what I played the other night.
Dude, that new track's dope. It's
Yeah.
really good.
2006 called. They want their metalcore back.
That's exactly what's happening. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I'm okay with this too.
That was good metalcore. So
Super
I
group.
watched their live video of them on YouTube the other day from their show last week. They're actually pretty good. He's a little rusty, but the
Well,
rest of them,
yeah.
it was crazy. They looked happy to be playing. He looked happy to be out of jail, but
well,
Yeah.
yeah. You got a second chance on a lot of things. So.
Yeah. In my opinion, Rush is a super group.
Well, Rush was the first the first band I was gonna go with, and I was like, I don't know if you'd consider
could
that
also-
a supergroup just because they
It's
didn't
the-
have prominent projects before
Yeah.
Rush.
Would
What about
Cream be a
Prince?
supergroup then? Because
Technically, I don't.
I
Clapton
think
wasn't
Cre-
known before.
Yeah,
that.
so Cream was
So
because
what
Cream was
Prince?
another one that came across my mind, and I was like, I don't know if they were big enough before
was an icon.
Cream,
His
because everybody
symbol, they
got
were
really
like a
big
trademark
during and
symbol.
after Cream.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you'd call it a supergroup. You could call every band a supergroup that's really successful if they split up and did other things afterwards.
I
But,
suppose.
Yeah.
Well, technically, then Fall Out Boy is too, because
yeah, like you could go on and on.
Green Day performs as multiple different bands
Yeah.
too,
Yes,
like
they do.
Foxborough Hot Tubs
They
and
do.
the Network and.
Beatles could do it too.
Would
Yeah.
anybody consider Prince a supergroup? When the labels try to take his name, and he's like, "No, I won't go by the name. Let's go by the symbol." Well, that's pretty dope. Not many people can pull that off.
We'd be like, "Hey Prince, nice to meet you."
Yeah, just a symbol. Yeah, just artist symbol.
Formerly known as Prince.
Hello.
nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Who else could pull that off?
How long was he a symbol instead of a name?
Couple of years. I
Couple
think.
years.
Yeah.
Because it was to get out of his record contract.
Yeah.
and-
And then he named himself the artist formerly known as Prince, and then all this stuff, and then.
Well, no, he didn't name himself that. People had to call him that because
yeah.
his name was a symbol that didn't have any preset sound to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his own made-up symbol. So it's like, well, you can't name it. It's just.
Wait a minute, what did the
it's
symbol look like?
icon.
I thought it was just a big P.
Pretty
No,
much. It's
it
a
kind of
guitar.
looks like a P
But
with
with an arrow.
a male symbol and
Yeah.
like
Okay,
it was weird.
All right.
It's his guitar.
Yeah, well,
Okay, that's
he
what
had
it
the
was.
guitar made after he came up with the symbol.
Oh, okay.
But either way, that's a dope move.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other supergroups that exist. Oh, them Crooked Vultures. It's
Yeah,
Josh.
there you
from-
go. There you go.
Is it cheating to get on my phone for a question?
No, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
How
gonna say
dare
there's a
you.
couple other super groups from the '80s. I think I'm missing.
Damn
It's
Yankees.
a lot
It's
of
not a
80s.
super group till Paul Rogers joins.
True. Look at Queen.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Damn Yankees is Ted Nugent and a couple guys from, or Tommy Shaw from Styx and Night Ranger, Jack Blades,
Sure.
and I can't remember who else, but yeah.
Can we call Amos Slade a supergroup at this point?
I'd say a local supergroup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd
say
say.
that.
That's my favorite
Yeah.
supergroup. There we go.
So like, would Panic at the Disco be considered a supergroup? Because like everybody quit. He was the only original. Wrote that whole last record by himself and kind of put. Him
Well, he
back on the
recorded
map.
all of it too.
He wrote it and recorded all himself. Kind of put him back on the map. You know, like everybody kind of forgot about.
It's
him for
not
a little
really a
bit.
supergroup though, because name one of the other members.
But see, that's where I'm like, can one guy define it if he does it all like that? Like, I mean, and it's still good. It's
Well, the
relevant.
reason the word supergroup is supposed to talk, like, reference multiple famous people from other
Yeah, he just
projects
gets on a
that came
different
together.
He just gets on a different instrument. He's like, hey, now I'm Brendan on drums,
I suppose.
Brendan on guitar.
And there's a lot of technical supergroups if you look at it from a different angle. Like Foo Fighters, it consists of
Technically,
Dave from Nirvana, Sunny Day Real Estate guys, and then Pat from the Germs and
Yep.
and all that stuff. So it's like you could go many different routes with supergroup.
absolutely.
I'm going with Amos Slade. That's my
Yeah, yeah.
favorite local supergroup.
If you look at it from a different nodes, definitely.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah.
Metal
they were.
supergroup, yeah. Even though they all didn't perform at the same time except at the reunion show last year. Other than that, like
Well, even then, that was basically Marching Arms plus Kyle.
no.
Like,
And Thomas and
True.
well, Thomas didn't do the show out in California.
yeah,
No.
yeah, he just did the Sioux
That,
Falls.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if we can we count him? Like,
I guess as well as if it was the one night only thing, it's hard to label that.
when it wasn't even one night only, it was half the night.
Yeah,
Because Kyle did the first half and then
Yeah.
Thomas did the second.
yeah.
Which,
so that one's hard to.
amazing either way, but
Yeah. But since they all didn't play together, it was hard to.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. Should we move on to the next topic?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Mix it up a little bit. Does selling out exist anymore?
yeah,
I'll talk about that.
because everybody does it.
Pass.
Yeah.
Pass.
I think everyone does at this point.
Yeah.
Fallout Boy. Again, I feel like we've referenced that the most.
Yeah.
Like every
topic.
question's kind of like,
God damn it,
like,
Fall Out Boy!
it's easy. Well, bastards, they let us down.
Is there any bands that you think have not sold out? I would say Fugazi.
Here's the thing though, in the punk rock sense of the word, if you make money off your music, you've sold out.
Yeah.
So we're already there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess what by definition, what is like the parameter for sellout? Like change sound to sell records, or like what you just said? I'd say probably like you change your sound completely because you want to try to sell more records and
Yeah.
like radio rock stuff or you know.
So basically,
whatever it is.
Taylor Swift.
Hey,
If any of your songs have ever been used in a
T-shirt.
commercial.
Don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd agree with that because I mean if you make a song that you're really appreciative of and somebody wants to pay you money just to play it over an ad,
Well, that's
I
just,
don't think
that's just
selling out.
licensing stuff.
That's
yeah.
making money off of music. I mean you're trying to do it for a living.
give Madonna.
Well, and think about this: Jimi Hendrix.
trigger.
None of his stuff was ever used in commercials.
I'm not like
until
this
long
like super
after he
fan of
was
Madonna.
dead.
I love like a prayer.
So he didn't sell out his estate did.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
Prince's estate has sold out quite a bit since he passed away. They've milked that for all it's worth because it's like,
Michael Jackson's too, though.
yeah, it's like Prince hated Spotify and everything it stood for. I think,
Yeah.
and then they put him on
I
Spotify.
can't wait for the Tupac and Michael Jackson and Prince supergroup that's just holograms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's gonna be the super group of the century.
I wrote the song in '94.
Oh man.
Well,
First
I
of
mean,
all.
why do the holograms? Just go get them from the private island that they're on and have it be.
Oh yeah, right. They're still alive. All of them.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with a reanimate their corpses route. Yeah, you're right. An island thing is much more probable.
So I totally didn't hear reanimate. I heard Rihanna ate. So it's like, wait, Rihanna ate their corpses? What?
What if they all had
It's a death metal
vases?
song right
You
there.
just put the vases
That's the name of the
on
episode.
stage.
Rihanna.
And then move them around,
Yeah.
you know, get them
Yeah.
but like not like in a set order. Put them on Roombas and just see
Right.
what goes on.
Yeah.
then
Like the cleanup crew is not happy. They've desecrated the artists. Oh, that'd be rough.
Oh man.
I don't know. Bands can definitely still sell out.
Yeah.
I feel like it's honestly more.
If it
It's
seats
simple.
500 and you sell all 500 tickets, buddy, you sold out. Ah!
God, from a literal
Straight
sense,
up.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. There's another way to
Yeah.
talk about.
You can either
music.
sell out in integrity or literal tickets.
I feel like bands. It's easier for bands to do it nowadays because there's so many more, platforms and. Like let's put it this way, there's a band that starts out playing like rock or metal or hardcore, whatever genre, and then they kind of transition into like, everybody kind of transitions to like electronica and dubstep because that was like the in thing for a while. So everybody sold their guitars and bought computers and started making music, and next thing you know, they're all in on that. So it's like.
One band that I can think
Yeah.
of prominently from the mid-thousands that people accuse of selling out is Atreyu.
Yeah.
When they went
Yeah, they did.
soft and just kind of gave up
Dude.
the...
Straight
Basically, Lead Sails Paper Anchor, which made me
I
really.
liked that
Yeah,
album.
I really
Same.
loved that album. I
Yeah.
got mad.
I
when people
did,
said
but like,
that.
their favorite album for me was Death Grip on Yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
That was
X's
their
and
best
O's.
album.
Oh, yeah.
Hands on Your
That
People
whole
War,
album was
Shameful
great, yeah.
Creature, all of it. Like that album front to back was gold. But then when they came out, Lead Sails Paper Anchors, a lot of people were pissed. And I was like, I liked tracks off it, but I didn't like the ones that made the radio. Those are the ones I was like, I see why people like they definitely sold out.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people that are saying that.
They never really came back from that either.
There's a lot of people
No.
that have been saying that the Used sold out because their new album is just an entirely like out of left field.
Well, see, that's
direction.
the thing. Like, how,
but that's because they got a new guitarist.
well, not only that, it's like when you've been doing it for so long, when does it become like they're just progressing instead of selling out?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the hard part.
But then you have to hold every band to that same standard. It's similar to, Taylor Swift's name was thrown out pretty fast, and I'm not going to argue against her selling out. What if she just decided at some point, hey, this country isn't really
That's
what I
what
want
I'm
to do.
saying.
I wanted to do pop.
Yeah.
Well, then is she really selling out? It's one of those things
Right.
where
Well,
you can take bands you really enjoy and say, well, they didn't sell out.
Yeah.
But then when you have the people you're not as connected to, it's easier to tell.
Well,
them
and
that
don't get
they
me
did.
wrong, I like Taylor Swift's music, like both before and after, because it's catchy as shit and
Yeah.
guilty pleasure. But
there's a lot of
I wouldn't even say
factors.
guilty.
Like,
I
you get a
enjoy
young
most of
girl
it.
that's
the last album, no, but I enjoy most of it. I wouldn't even call it a guilty one.
Well, it's tough to say because you don't know like the factors in it. Like you get a young girl that's like looks the country part and can sing really well. So like they're directing her, let's make you a country star, and then that kind of starts to fizzle out. And they're like, actually, we can turn you into a pop star.
Yeah.
Like and credit to whoever is managing her because they're doing an excellent job. She's got
Right.
the talent to back it. But that's for any band, like you're saying about the Used, like how many albums can you make that have the same songs like the Burn the Worm on it before people like I'm out?
well, those
Yeah.
that
Maybe
was
you
that was
can't.
only third album. This
But
is
you know what
this
I'm
is
saying.
album number
Yeah,
But it
7.
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you
but
get my
it's
you get my
the-
point though.
it's the
Like, it
idea
doesn't
that-
matter. You can't make that same album
Right.
every single record. You gotta try something new. But it's like every time you try something new, it seems like the first thing that people want to meet you with is all they sold out, rather than like, hey, they're just trying something new. Like they're progressing.
There's when bands go certain for the Used, I like the stuff I'd heard off this new album way more than the stuff of the last one, because when they tried
Yeah,
to when they tried to go political, I'm like,
Yeah.
don't.
That's exactly. That's what
Imaginary
you
Enemy
gotta
was
push.
weird.
That was like a cutting point
Like
for me. I was
I,
like, yeah.
I said that to Bert's face when I
Oh, really?
went. Well, because I went and saw them in
That's the-
Milwaukee on that 15-year anniversary
Mhm.
tour where they did the 2-night deal, and I won't even get into the other stories because that was awesome. But I got to talk to him a little bit, and I was like, dude, please tell me you're not doing political stuff on the next record. I was like,
Yeah.
I love you, and the music was okay, but just that whole Imaginary Enemy, like I just wasn't feeling it, bro. Like I love you. I'm always gonna support you guys, but I hope you go back to your roots on this next one. He goes, oh yeah, man, that's the plan. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I got really annoyed there for a minute because I agree with you.
Yeah, I when I heard that album, just like, oh, like whenever a band decides to go a political route when they haven't been political in the past,
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
It's
this is
cringy.
gonna
Oh, boy.
suck.
You can tell it's forced.
Like if Rise Against does it, cool. Like whatever. Like,
If your
Rage,
stance has been,
Rage.
yeah, if your stance has been kind of like that subculture, your entire like musical career makes sense. But if it comes out of left field, you're like, hey, I see you.
Is it straight from the path too?
Yeah, well, they hit the cops hard, like the cop.
I was gonna say they
fuck
weren't
the
as
police.
political, but they really went off.
It's
the
like they
deep end
traveled
in it,
back
too.
and like took the NWA and turned it into a hardcore album instead.
They
It's weird.
they basically combined NWA
And I used to love
Rage.
that band, but after that, like last couple records, I mean, I just kind of been out. There's too much of like the political, like, let's follow the trend of, you know, fuck the police and all that. And
Yeah.
it's like, hey, come on, there's, you know,
There's more.
there's always more two sides to that story. That's a tough concept in general.
Yeah.
But are they selling out to that?
I wouldn't call that selling
No,
out.
if they're actually following the trend, because that's why I think they started doing it. Like everybody's
Well,
kind of in
if-
that angsty, like, you know, we're
if they-
rebelling, you know.
And if they feel strongly on the topic and they decide to write music about it, that's
Exactly.
definitely not
Exactly.
selling
And
out.
they do.
No, if they did it just because they're like, we're gonna sell more albums if we talk about this, then yeah, it's selling out. But unless you know for sure,
So essentially, it
I hope
comes
they don't
down
tweet
to
it.
it comes down to the intention of the artist, and none of us can ever know.
well, exactly. That's why
Well,
that's why I think questions about calling
Yeah.
out people for
You
selling
can double
out is
down on that.
tough.
If they get called out and they stick by it, and they, you know what I mean, they don't like flee the first sign of trouble when someone's like, hey, you're not about that, and they're like, oh shit, they're onto us, and then they don't ever talk about it again or write anything close to that. But if they're like, no, that's what we're doing, like this is
No.
what we feel we're
I
about
suppose.
now, like Venom, yeah, I get it. It's like people are either gonna get out the program or they're gonna fall off. It's not necessarily the band, but if you can tell like a band is kind of flopping around, like let's write a political album, let's write a breakup album, you can kind of tell what the next cliche they're gonna do, and you're just like, well, what's going on here?
I am biased, but I thought Green Day did it best, or I did it right with
Yeah.
when they got into politics. At least it wasn't from a just constant accusatory. They were doing it from a personal angle,
Right.
but also backing up their stuff too, and not just be
Well,
like,
that's
"Oh, yeah."
a good example too, because they stuck to it. It's not like they teased it with like one record and it got a ton of shit, and we're like, well, we're out. We're not doing that again.
Yeah, they tried again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though they knew like how much flack they caught for it originally, but
Yeah.
that's where it's like I don't view it as selling out. I'm like, that's just what they're into now. You can't fault somebody for that.
And it just happened to be extremely successful. That's just how I view that one.
No doubt.
But yeah, no doubt it's another band that sold out.
Right.
God, it's just basically Gwen Stefani and company the last couple albums. Like,
I was gonna say it wasn't so
It's
much
barely
they
even
sold
that
out; she
anymore.
sold out.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gwen Stefani and the other guys. That's how it.
Who did she marry? Blake Shelton? Is that right?
Oh, she's married to him. She's still with him. I'm pretty sure.
Some bullshit. Whatever.
She's going further down that crap hole.
Kidding.
Next.
Or is he?
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
let's hit the next one.
No, he's doing well. Next topic.
I meant that she. I was trying to insinuate that she was into butt stuff.
Oh. Oh, I got it. Oh, I see what you mean.
I'm glad y'all laughed because they're all just like.
I completely missed it.
motherfucker.
I did.
I completely missed it, so I'm like, I'm not gonna chime in now. I'm like, what was that? And have to
Yeah.
listen to it again.
We have our first repeat question that failed
Oh,
last
Let's
episode.
do it. Let's see if we can tackle it.
Hall or Oates?
Oats.
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 Pass.
Pass.
Yep.
Oates.
Oats.
Yeah, Oats. Next question. We got it.
Hold on. Hold on before we go there. Do you know who either of them are? Fucking knew it.
Oates has the porn stash, or did, and Hall was kind of the main singer.
Yeah, Oates wrote the fucking music. Hall was just the pretty boy that performed, and everybody, I was like, oh man.
Hall was the Justin Bieber and yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, you kind of need both.
They were
True that.
Nino
They were the
felt like
Lewis
one-
and Clark of the music world.
Yeah.
I thought Hall wrote occasionally too.
He did, but I think the
might have-
majority of it
Oates
was
did
like,
the,
you know.
the lion's share
Yeah,
from what
sure.
it.
Like I
From what it
said, Hall
seems.
was Justin Bieber and Oates was Skrillex.
Yeah, but like what you said, you do need both.
Yeah, because
He wrote that whole
a lot of
Yeah.
talented
Yeah.
people that don't make it because they
Yeah.
don't have the charisma.
Yeah,
know, so
you
when get
definitely need
charisma,
both, but
yeah.
if you had to strip back who needed who more, I would definitely say Oates is the guy.
So that being said,
Get on it.
Simon or Garfunkel?
Oh.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Sorry, I took a.
I gotta go.
No.
I gotta go Paul Simon on that one.
Simon.
I gotta go Paul Simon.
Garfunkel. If without Garfunkel, you don't have that. Obviously, that sounds like an oxymoron. But without the two, but Simon is the one that carried the weight.
I
Yeah.
was say, wasn't Garfunkel kind of a little bit bitch?
Yeah, I think so. He was part of
Straight
his
up.
money
Well, from what I hear,
I
Paul
gotta
Simon's
go-
not
I gotta go
exactly an
Simon.
awesome person to work with.
No.
either.
Right, but I mean,
No.
you gotta have that kind of drive to an extent to push it.
There's a deep dark hatred in his heart. He is a monster, but it feels good music, I guess.
Yeah.
He was the first like
Do you know
hardcore
who
kid
they are?
back in the day. Just
You don't know who Simon
Yeah.
Garfunkel is.
super angry
You're
at
crazy.
everything.
Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend. That's
You've
the,
definitely
yeah,
heard.
yeah, I've heard that song.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
like,
You've heard the
one.
Dirt
yeah.
cover.
So
John,
I won't tell that story. Okay.
boy.
Oh, and,
I'll get flack from my girlfriend if I tell that story.
I know. That's not even pop culture anymore. That's so many years
I
ago.
don't even know.
Simon and Garfunkel is not pop culture at all.
Hey, John, how do you feel about Garfunkel and Oates?
That's what you should have led with. You were like,
That's
that, man.
I disagree.
That's a
like,
good
yes.
show. I enjoy
Yeah.
that show.
Well, it's a group, not just a show.
I know, but the show itself
The
is
show
really,
was
really
good.
good.
and Paul Simon, he hosted Saturday Night Live a lot in the 80s. He did a skit where he was in line waiting for a movie at the theater, and he's run into all these friends he met in the past, and he knows every single detail about the moment that he met him. And then Art Garfunkel, the actual Art Garfunkel,
Sure.
shows up in line like, Paul, how you been? He goes, who are you?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Savage. Yeah, he's
Alright.
definitely the winner.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Next topic.
Wait, so did that question pass or fail?
We passed. It passed.
Yeah.
Alright.
So we talked about it.
But did it fit? I mean, that
Shut
failed
up!
twice before, so like it
Third
went
time's
well.
the charm?
Third
Yeah.
times the charm.
Do you think VHS will ever go back in style?
No.
No.
No. Fail and say no to that question?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, we can pass it.
I mean,
and
you can
just
pass
say
it. It's
no
the
and-
quickest pass.
Yeah,
job.
pass,
Easy.
no, go
It's
on.
unanimous.
Well, here's the thing about it.
No, we failed.
It failed. Moving on.
Promotion fails, sir. You know what?
All right. Oh, another repeat. Friends or Seinfeld?
Will you shuffle those goddamn
Fucking How I Met Your
I was
Mother.
gonna say neither.
Yeah. Can we fail it?
No. Friends is
I
terrible.
like Friends.
I like Friends.
I don't mind
I grew
Friends.
up on
It's
Friends.
fun.
Yeah.
Family.
I grew up with Friends.
My mom was a
Yeah.
huge Friends fan. She'd slap you too.
Yeah. That's why I like Friends.
Okay, I'm gonna say
Pat,
this.
we'll talk about this one briefly and then move on.
Yeah.
Oh, so, yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm just gonna say this. Friends is bullshit because you can tune in every single episode and those characters never change. There's no arcs to them at all.
It's because they're in hell.
Oh, purgatory.
No, they're in hell. They're doomed to torment each other like that forever.
That's wonderful.
I wouldn't say that they didn't change. They actually got more annoying over time. Each
They
person-
got more annoying because they didn't change.
Well, see,
Yeah.
Ross is the guy who died most recently, and they slowly wear down his sanity over the course of the show. If you watch,
Yeah,
like a
it's true.
gradual gradient, I could do a whole thesis argument about.
Could you imagine if that was the last
but
episode?
they are in
They're just
hell,
walking his hand.
and they are. It is
That's it.
specifically
That's it.
Ross's hell.
It's like The Office. They all die at the
There's
end.
that episode where he catches Joey and Rachel kissing, and then he's weird the rest of the episode. Like, Ross, you fine? I'm fine! He, like, does this whole thing, and he goes, I don't know why I'm squeaky right. I'm fine. Like, in real life, he'd be like, this is weird. I'm gonna have to process this, man. Like,
Right.
give me some time.
Yeah.
But whereas, like, on the show, it's just the sitcom kind of thing where it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on!
Yeah.
Like...
Gotta act like there's an
Same.
issue.
And then he's just like, oh, I'm totally fine. And then this whole way, I'm like, in real life, you just be like, I'm gonna need my space from you guys, all right?
Right.
Like,
You hurt me. I need it. I can't talk about this right
but
now.
it's a
I need
sitcom, so he
distance.
has to be like,
Yeah.
well, and here's the thing. I don't understand who put Seinfeld and Friends on the same card because they're not the same type of show at all.
funny thing is, a lot of people compare the two shows, and they're totally different styles of shows. That's
Yeah.
why I put that question together. I want to pick people's
Let's see.
brains
Yeah,
with
let's
that
see
one.
what's going on.
Yeah, so I feel
Know
like,
your mind.
yeah.
So was that like the first time a question's failed and we've talked about it that long?
Yeah,
Yep.
but so I called it a pass, and I just
All
kept,
right.
so we no longer talk
Sure.
about it ever again.
All right, so, yeah.
He exercised executive host privilege.
I apologize for getting upset.
No, you're
Got triggered.
I feel very, very strongly about How I Met Your Mother versus Friends.
Why does indie music need to be where the money goes?
That's
Talk
gonna
about that one?
that'd probably be a fail for me. I don't
Fail.
know.
Fail.
I don't know enough
It's
about
worded
it.
weird too.
You know,
Yeah.
Simon and Garfunkel. What's for Christ's sake?
It doesn't. If you put a bunch of
Exactly.
money into indie music, doesn't it stop being indie music?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's how you get Florence the Machine.
Yeah, which is no longer indie music.
and
You
then they
lose the
sell out.
indie, and then you get a
So it
different
was
kind of
just
music that
Florence,
becomes
and then they
indie.
bought a machine.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
got enough money and paid the machine.
It's Florence and a boombox on stage. Dog days are over!
One man band rigs with like the cymbals. And
That's where
that's where I need a machine.
we
Oh my god.
we lost Giggle Bees and we got Florence in the machine.
This is his rabbit hole conspiracy. You're gonna find it on YouTube.
I'm gonna be up till like 5 a.m. today.
Where
did it go?
Charlie Day with the yarn.
I'm gonna have a big map of the United States with like potential
Let's get Johnny
locations of
narrated.
Wilbur and like Florence concerts.
Her first album is called Pepe Sylvia.
Oh man. I think we did it again.
We fail at failing.
We gotta keep moving.
All right, next one.
Okay.
Which instrument would you like to learn how to play that you don't know how to play? Talk about that one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Let's do it.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
The theremin.
Oh, I was gonna say that too.
Sweet.
Theremin.
That's
So
the thing I
fucking
said
hard.
you forever
That
ago.
like
I
That's what
bought
she
one in
said.
college, and it's so goddamn hard to use.
What do you do with it?
You've got like a volume, like, and the farther your hand is away, the louder it is, and then like your other hand is
pitch
like
is-
Yeah, because it's just the
But it's like you can-
electromagnetic fields around the
Yeah,
antenna.
yeah.
and- But I couldn't get it to like even. All I could get was. I couldn't even like get it to be even slightly controlled because I
Really?
wanted to learn how to do the fucking thing from the Good Vibrations.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that so bad, or at least do like a sci-fi one when someone walks in my apartment and be like,
I want to see Michael J. Fox play that.
How dare you? How dare
"Too
you?
soon."
It's been known he's had Parkinson's for a really long time. Like,
Everybody loved Marty McFly. You son of a bitch.
I love the guy.
Anyone else would have rather seen Eric Stoltz play Mario? No, no one would say that. Like questions that no one. Anyone else think Eric Stoltz should have played Mario Flying?
Would you have preferred I said Muhammad Ali? Like, he's dead. He can't defend himself. Michael J. Fox can still sue me. So
No, he can't. He can't sign the documents.
he's got a power of attorney at this point.
I'm gonna say a weird one. I'm gonna say I want to learn guitar just because I only drum and do vocals, and I'd love to learn how to actually play it so I can easily write songs and teach my bandmates
Sure.
how to run through the song in my head instead of just be like, here, I'm gonna hum the notes. That's what I do. Like I'll have riffs in my head, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
just sounds ridiculous. It's
I
just
should
like,
learn drums so
Did
I
you
don't
know
sound
Michael
like an
Jackson
idiot
did
every
that?
time.
Alright, he just had
He
it.
didn't know how to play any instruments.
Yeah.
He would literally sing every part and like record it, demo it out himself, and then bring it to guitar players and like have them learn it. Like, who was
Oh.
it? Was it Slash that played on beat?
Eddie Van Halen.
Eddie Van Halen, that guy. Anyway, yeah, he just
That
sang.
guy.
Yeah, the other really good guitarist. No, he sang it to him, and then he like figured out how to play it from
Oh.
Michael Jackson's singing. This lady brought this lawsuit against Michael Jackson that saying that he stole a song of hers from like 6 years earlier, and Michael Jackson had the like recording with a date on it of just him singing every single part, and she didn't have jack.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, he really like just sang everything and like composed everything. He said he didn't know how to read sheet music, any of that.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Just nuts. Yeah, that's
so,
awesome.
So yeah, you don't need to learn guitar.
Yeah.
Was my point with that.
Okay. Yeah. I would like to just.
So
it would
pick
do
a
it now.
different instrument.
Yeah.
Didgeridoo.
Yeah.
All right.
If you need one, I've got
Oh
one.
goddamn!
Really?
Do you really?
Oh, I love the didgeridoo.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I've
Dude,
got
I
one.
learned how to play that in 8th
I-
grade.
same.
Like,
I can't
Brain
continuous
stick.
breathe very well.
I
but
came this close to buying one at a Renaissance fair when I was drunk
really,
one time.
really.
And my friends talked me out of it, but
Well-
I regret to this day that I didn't go with my drunk impulse and buy it.
Well, I definitely bought mine drunk at a pawn store, but it
Okay.
paid off. I learned how to play it. So.
Is that
I
it,
don't-
Tom?
I don't think you're
Yeah,
legally
yeah.
allowed to purchase a didgeridoo sober.
That's fair. I think
Yeah.
I saw that in the statute too.
are you allowed if you are indigenous?
I'll allow it.
I'm not. I'm just
You
wondering.
get a pass.
Does anyone learn how to play a rain stick?
I don't.
Just like. If you like twist it the right way, then just the sound of
I
it.
feel like you have to learn a little bit because I thought the same thing
There's
about
at
a
least a
shaker.
curve, yeah.
I thought the same thing about like a shaker, and then I heard some people play a shaker one time, and I was like, maybe you do need to learn a little bit. Even like the simple instruments need a little bit of learning.
Shaker actually is a little more complicated than you'd think. It's one of those
Yeah.
like you have to have the shake hit
Yep.
at the right exact
Yep.
moment, and it's like Yeah.
No, I completely agree, but
I'll
it just
tell
like
you what though, if you don't need skills to play a rain stick or like any form of coaching, I want that job in like the orchestra. Oh, the crap! Yeah, man, come see the orchestra and put a piece together.
I always love when you've got orchestras and you've got the guy with
With that
the
intro
drum
and
that's
it's like they play a little
So you'll audition for first
nailed it.
chair triangle things now.
Exactly. Just sit there looking at all your friends like nailed it, man. I think that's it. Mic drop.
I always love in orchestras when you have the guy with the drum that's, like 10-foot diameter.
He
And
hits
he's
it
just
like
sitting there
once.
and he hits it twice in a song. It's like, yeah, you still need to be really need to know what you're doing. But it's still like you're sitting
That
there
guy
just
studied
studying
for
for
like
a song.
10 years at a fucking European conservatory
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, I know, but it's just awesome because he's sitting over there and he's into it and he's like, I gotta hit this exactly and this is my one shot. Like, I can't mess up this note and get back on it. This is my one shot.
Could you imagine fucking that up?
One shot.
Could you imagine fucking that up though, like the whole, or like, like really man?
One shot.
Like everybody's drum starts on fire inexplicably.
You just take a chair and set it behind the drum and go sit behind it for the rest of the
The
show.
first chair trial.
No, you gotta go sit in the corner.
The guy that plays that one part has narcolepsy and everyone else gonna
It's a surprise.
So he falls into
So it's perfect timing.
We're all just like,
Should we help him?
oh, he's gone.
Should we help him?
No, it's
He's
still on. It's still in
This
time.
happens.
No, he's gone.
This is normal. Alright, John, you go.
I mean, sing? Could like vocals be considered?
I could-
instruments?
yeah,
that's
I've
instrument.
always wanted
I'll
to
allow
learn
it.
sing.
Me too.
You need the.
probably
We
do
talked
that.
about courtroom shows. You need the one of the.
Yeah,
sound effects from the court.
Yeah. And our next promo poster is you in a court outfit with a gavel, and me just
I
going.
like it. Yeah.
Make sure that it's a sexy judge's robe.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Duh.
obviously.
Could be cut in strategic places.
Yeah.
Yeah, DV, as I said.
Yeah.
Super DV.
Just like, and then you've got the chain
The-
as well.
These V-neck judges' robes, especially what
I hold you in contempt
Can you-
of court.
Please talk in a wacky southern accent when you do it as well.
I hold you in contempt of court.
I think we have a whole new thing
There you
here.
go. You're welcome.
I would welcome emotion with you.
You know, I'm thinking about starting my own comedy podcast. If you want.
Hey.
Maybe,
We'll talk after.
So with that, I've literally played every instrument. So I'm just gonna go with bagpipes because I want to get like actually get
Stole
good
mine,
at
you
them.
fuck.
Sure. Yeah.
You played every instrument in the world.
Every single instrument.
Accordion?
Yeah, retract that statement.
Okay, there's like obviously like indigenous instruments that I've never even
Accordion's
seen.
not an indigenous.
You obviously never put the vibra slap.
Yeah, I'm doing
Have you ever played an Aztec death whistle?
Wait, if you
Fuck you, you pleb.
Oh man.
Okay, fine. I will retract my statement. Not every. I've played a lot. And a lot of the typical instruments that people think of.
Yeah. Nick, did you say one?
No, I didn't, but mine was gonna be bagpipes as well.
Oh, okay.
Mostly because like my grandma was actually played in the Sioux Falls band, still does, and she always had brought like instruments home, you know, whatever, clarinet, piano, all that good stuff, French horn stuff, all that good stuff. But I always thought something like that stuck out a little more. Like I've always been kind of attracted to more melancholy sounds. So like
Okay.
bagpipes, you know, you hear a lot of funerals, sad shit. But then you also can, if you know how to play it, man, you can make a wild party tune.
Yeah.
Flatfoot
Just saying.
56 does some crazy shit.
I'm just
with that
saying,
stuff.
Who?
you know.
Flatfoot 56?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Flatfoot 50 is awesome.
Christian version of flogging Molly, basically.
Oh.
But no, I just thought it was cool, like the difference between two. Like it just depends on the tone of how you play it. But I guess that's any instrument. But I was stuck to bagpipes. I thought that was cool. It would be interesting to learn.
Yeah.
Plus, I have no idea how it works. Sorry. to cut you off.
Two
No,
things.
yeah.
First, I would want to learn how to play the piano, and I have a long story explaining why. But first, I can't make a reference to the Aztec death whistle without having you hear it, if you're not familiar with the...
That's a legit
I'm down.
thing.
I'm
Fucking
down.
play it.
I want to show you this.
Is it on the Austrian death machine? Single? Like,
If we all die like it's one of those, like...
It's an actual fucking instrument they played in battle. It's the most disturbing motherfucking thing in the world.
Can you get him on eBay?
We're putting that on the next album.
No, I'm gonna scare the shit out of my friends. I'm gonna come up on John every time someone rocks downstairs in your basement for practice. Actually, you know what? I think I've heard that before. It sounds like John when he gets pissed off. And I think I have a clip on my phone.
It's accurate.
I want to change my answer now that I've heard that. I want to learn how to play the Viking battle horn.
Battle horn, yeah.
Just because that's awesome.
I want to learn.
I'm not a Vikings fan at all. I think they're awful.
I want to learn the arts of the cowbell just because one a dream of mine is to be in Blue Oyster Cult. So, like,
It's a
I
good
just
dream.
want to have Christopher Walken talk to me.
yeah. You know, Nick.
You need more.
Just close your eyes. It feels the same.
You know how to play the wind chimes.
I said it once.
I was trying to set him up for
I said it once. I won't say it again.
Now the only thing that would make this better is if you came back with an excellent Christopher Walken impression as well.
Yeah, I don't have one of those. I'm
Damn
sorry.
it, you let me down, man.
I'm good at that.
We are going to play the game of ping pong.
Dude, that's spot on.
Hold on. Pretty good.
Do another
What's,
one.
what's with the scooching?
First things first, I'm the realist.
Yeah.
I am so fancy. You already know. I saw a dead bird out the other day. Hit a windshield. I thought, oh, that's a dead bird. It's not good.
Oh, that's wonderful. Can you tell Johnny to stab him in the face with a soldering iron?
If you don't hit the notes exactly right, just stab me in the face with a soldering iron.
That's great.
Joe Dirt! It's Joe
Exactly.
Dirt!
So please tell me you know that.
It's Joe Dirt!
Oh, that's wonderful.
Very nice.
He thinks it's art. It's crap! It's garbage.
So we've hit the hour 20 mark.
Okay.
If you
Do I do
one more topic and
one
then
more topic and then
plugs.
shameless plugs and call it good?
Let's do it.
Cool. Alright.
Fail.
Let's see. Favorite album cover of all time and least favorite album cover of all time?
I gotta fail that one.
But that's too broad. for
Too
me.
broad.
Yeah,
Failed.
yeah, yeah.
Alright.
I also have multiple tattooed on me.
nice.
So, I'll be talking about this for the next hour and a half.
You might have some opinions on that.
A few.
Crest, Colgate, or dentures?
Fail.
Fail. Save that one
Matthew
for
could
next
still
week.
talk about it for hours.
No,
Ask you
I don't know enough about dentures.
Celebrity crushes?
Fail.
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 Okay.
Sorry.
Well, we know
No,
it's
you're
wrong.
okay.
Oh, I was gonna talk
We're being really picky about this last
Oh,
one.
no.
It's your last one, so you gotta make it count.
Why does it hurt when I pee? No.
Executive veto.
Veto that. Yeah. Every episode, actually, like the last topic is always like a rough, like yeah.
That.
For the Aztec death whistle.
I am that.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, you need that.
Which band battle would you like to see happen? By battle, I mean literally fight each other. For example, AC/DC and Guns N' Roses
Pass.
battle. Pass. I'll talk about
Pass.
this one.
Okay, well that would just be Axl Rose
Versus himself.
slitting his own throat. So I'm gonna fail that one.
No, I mean, like, what would your band battle? What would you like to see happen?
I would put in the Foo Fighters because Dave Grohl breaks his leg and still fucking shows up. He's
Yeah.
the man.
Who would you like to see Foo Fighters fight?
Anyway.
You're talking like
to get
band
it.
versus band? I thought it was inter-band.
No,
band
which two
versus
bands
band.
would
Oh, that
fight?
changes everything.
Anybody that wants to get their ass whooped could take on the Foo Fighters. He'll beat you with his broken leg.
Yeah, I would. I would.
He's
Love
gonna
to, I
take
would,
off the leg and.
I would love to see Metallica and Megadeth fight because Dave Mustaine used to be Metallica, then they kicked him out,
Right.
and then Dave has always been bitter that Metallica was slightly more successful than Megadeth, and so it's one of those things that I just love to see that fight happen. And then Dave would just be like, "Here, I got my knife here, and hello me, here's my knife."
Jesus.
You guys
When
all-
you think this isn't sharp at all.
I feel like you
then
just want to
James
take Mark Hoppus take on everybody from Blink right now. Or Tom DeLonge, excuse me. Just watch him fight everybody. Bring his aliens.
That'd be really
I'd love
great.
to see Green Day and Blink fight.
That'd be
True.
interesting.
Ooh,
that would be
Dude,
cool.
Green Day's
Yeah.
winning that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Billy Joe is not to be fucked with. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
He is nuts.
Yeah.
I've seen some videos, man.
The internet. Those internet rabbit holes.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a couple videos of him just absolutely taking out black dudes. Dude,
On
for
dates?
real.
What?
Really?
On dates?
Well, this is
Billy Joe's hardcore
That,
racist, man.
thanks for joining us all tonight, everyone.
Due to technical difficulties.
We now leave you with 45 minutes of death.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find one of those.
Dude,
Hope they're not
yeah.
expensive.
Billy Joe's hardcore racist.
Really? I didn't know that.
I didn't
Yeah,
think
I
he
did
would.
not know that either.
I thought he was totally against all that stuff, like
Same.
racist, sexist.
Yeah.
I mean, he might be now, but
Was it like the
there's
90s?
some, there's some
What,
old.
Yeah,
there's
would
some
you
old
watch those
videos
videos?
out there. Been a minute,
Kind of like Marky Mark back in the day.
probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
Marky Mark.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
It would be.
Yeah, Marky Mark
I mean,
versus.
he definitely has some good. I mean,
Versus
have you
the
seen
Funky
that
Bunch?
Good Vibrations music video? That guy
Yeah.
knows how to hit a heavy bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Adam Sandler versus his career.
Wait,
That's
wait.
Adam Sandler just grumble.
I. Trying to think. It's a good one. Who's somebody I want to see get beat? Like,
Most emo bands. Like Blood on the Dance Floor.
Broken Side and
like
Blow on the
that.
Dance Floor, fight it out.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be.
I thought you were talking about good emo bands for a second. I'm like,
No.
I would see Brand New and Taking Back Sunday.
Oh, I remember going to a brand new show and then tons of people wearing Take Back Sunday shirts. I'm like, oh, that takes balls.
They always had that. They always had that weird feud.
Because of that bridge or whatever?
What?
Like they steal like a bridge or a verse from that or something?
I thought one dude fucked his wife or something. Maybe I'm.
What happened was, I think, John
Mark.
Nolan from Take Back Sunday was dating a girl that Jesse liked,
Yeah.
and Jesse was pissed about that and wrote a bunch of songs about it. And then
Nice touch.
then Jesse left Take Back Sunday because he was in it for a year or two, and then formed Brand New.
Yep.
And wrote all those songs about it. And,
Yep.
now Brand New is not the one standing. Like,
well,
Right.
well, the interesting thing about that is apparently Jesse Lacey just doesn't know how to have good relationships.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Now it makes more sense too if you go back. It's like, oh, a couple underlying issues.
I got mine.
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. There's
Oh.
been so many body changes throughout those bands.
yeah.
Dude, that'd be the ultimate dad bod fight.
Exactly. There's wild cards there, you know?
Oh yeah.
well, and a couple of
We'd have to
members
do the
have come
Taylor
out of the
Tate.
closet now too.
Yeah. You don't know. You don't know. You never know what's going to happen.
Spirits is
Broke up, so
totally
they'll just
gay,
have like
too.
nothing to lose there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which one was he in?
In sync.
Oh.
Fight.
Dude, come on, soundboard me.
I haven't played the death whistle when I murder you.
I like it. How about we end the podcast with that? Battle Royale.
We've done an episode of my other podcast. It's called Sioux Empire Fantasy Fight Club. We just come up with celebrities, politicians, whatever, and I assembled a panel, and we would debate their strengths and weaknesses and came up with winners.
That sounds actually like a good time.
Yeah,
it was a really good
I feel like you would get on that. Didn't you? What were you watching like every Friday night for a while?
Oh, Rough and Rowdy
Yeah.
pay-per-view. So basically, on the East Coast, they have this fight promotion. It's an amateur fight promotion, but basically anybody that wants to be in a boxing match can show up the day of, pass a physical, and fight somebody. And so you just get all these people that don't know how to fight, and you got guys in like jeans and cutoffs showing up and
Usually a bunch
everything,
of rednecks.
and just going after each other, and it's amazing. Actually, the next one's going to be in Ohio.
Oh,
I
that's gonna
considered
get
going there.
That'd be legit.
I know my answer.
Yeah.
I want to see these hearts fight a day to remember because whatever happens, Isaiah is going to be the only person left standing because he's a freaking beast, and that would be hilarious to watch. Like those two bands duke it out. Yes, please.
Another one, All American Rejects fight the Click 5. Hey, we're both like, remember 2005, you piece of crap!
That'd be legit.
And then All American Rejects opened for Blink and A Day to Remember, and then like 6 or 7 of the songs were all just their radio hits, and then they're like,
Yo.
bye. The
Was
singer's
that
like,
up in Minneapolis? Was
yeah.
that? Yeah. I was
Singer's like, I know what you're all thinking. What are we doing here? Like, they still have some catchy
Yeah,
stuff,
Shadow.
but like, yeah, when you think 2005, I think of like all those one hit or two or fuse hits that each
We
of those
gotta,
bands
get
had.
American Hi-Fi in there then.
Oh yeah, Armor for Sleep versus
Ooh.
him.
Ooh.
Like,
Ooh.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that'd be a good
Butterfly.
band.
I don't know any of these bands.
Ryan.
I don't know.
Him
I feel like
was-
the Finland people would win.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys are.
Some Nordic shit up there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Vinny Vale literally just drank wine for like 10
Oh,
years
yeah,
and
dude.
ate nothing.
I used
Like
to love
apparently
that
that's all he
band.
did. Yeah.
Just basically was drunk for 10 years straight.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I want to see. I want to go back to the '70s and watch Led Zeppelin kick the Beatles' asses. That'd be great.
That'd be nice.
Zeppelin and Sabbath, who do you think would win in that one?
Zeppelin.
Zeppelin.
Really?
I think Ozzy's a pushover.
Well, I guess Ozzy would probably be too drunk to fight.
Yeah.
Like,
No. Back then,
Yeah.
back in the day,
Like
Ozzy,
70s.
Ozzy would be the only person from Sabbath still standing because he'd be so like cracked out that.
Yeah.
Well, and the other problem is that if this was like a feeling out like a fight where you have strategies and stuff, if Ozzy's the leader of the band, nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody else is dead except for him, and Zeppelin just can't fucking find him. So.
He's at the Alamo. Freedom! Shit!
Well, I.
There are bats in here.
Just peeing. Jack! Kelly! What?
Coming for you, John Paul Jones. We'll fucking get you.
Bro, I'll tell you what though, his shows are fucking fun.
Dude, right?
He's like so off his rocker from like all the drugs and alcohol he's consumed. He just like makes no fucking sense.
You want to know what
It's
would be
awful
funny?
hilarious.
You want to know what would be funny if he's actually super normal and that's just a bit that he does.
Oh,
whenever
you
he's
know
on
that
camera?
shit is like
Dude,
is at least 70% an act.
Yeah.
I would, if that's true, he is like the troll king of all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But honestly,
I thought that was our
Because
president.
I've heard that
Would
about
that
like
make it
Snoop
better?
Dogg when he does like
No.
voiceover work and stuff like that. Because like people are like have no idea what to expect, and then I was being a mega nerd and listening to a DVD commentary from a show where he did a guest appearance, and like no, he came in all executive like a suit, and he's like done so much voiceover work, he like knew how to run all the equipment better than all of our techs and stuff, and he was just kind of like, okay, let's do a set 3 on this channel and let's go, and just hammered it out, and he was done, and it's just like. I was like, who the hell was that?
Dude, I would love to hang out with Snoop. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, never mind the fact that I'd love to get high with Snoop. Like, I just want to hang out with that dude.
Yeah.
I feel like he gets to go on adventures.
Right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, he definitely does not care. The back NHL reference, he hosted the NHL All-Star game like 2 years ago. Played the uncensored track before, so like it's in a sold-out stadium, and I was in LA at the Staples Center, so. There's like 20,000 people there, and yeah, F-bombs dropping left and right. He's like, yeah, motherfuckers, what's up? Let's get this going. And like, you can see like they're panning around, like people are just like children and stuff, and he just didn't care. He was going in. I was like, oh shit, there you go. Snoop Dogg don't give a fuck.
I mean, it was probably pretty well advertised that he was going to be.
Right, but like, you figure like.
Yeah.
You
It's
can't tell
censored.
people like, hey, leave your kids at home.
You
That's
think you're gonna
it,
get the
you know.
Super Bowl halftime version
Exactly,
of
you
the
know,
celebrity.
like,
The
clean
other
up
thing,
a
nobody's
little
gonna be like, hey, I really want to see my favorite team play. Oh wait, Snoop Dogg is gonna be there that day. Nah, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah.
Name me one person who's ever going to see that Snoop is involved in anything and that's going to deter them.
Parents of young
I
children.
was gonna say
Right after that
old
one,
white people. Let's see.
old white people, anyone that loves.
Yeah,
the
you're
East
talking about
Coast.
groups though. Name me someone specific.
Someone specific.
Exactly.
Donald Trump.
Funny, sister,
No, there's footage of him and Snoop Dogg shaking hands and
Yeah,
having a
Trump's
conversation.
hung out
Well,
with
and there's
everybody.
also footage
he
with
just
Trump
don't
and
give a shit.
Hillary shaking hands and
that's
having
true.
yeah, I
conversations.
do love it when artists change up when they're on live television, like everything is cleaned up, and then they swear, like just decide to add it in. Like
Right.
System of a Down was on SNL a long
Oh,
time.
yeah.
They played BYOB. That whole song was cleaned up. Like the lyrics are censored, and then Darren, the guitarist, decides to yell at the end of the song, "Fuck yeah!" And then the reruns still keep it in. It's like he clearly said it.
That's great. Like they're like, hey, you know what?
Damage done.
He played ball. You know.
Hey, he didn't rip up a picture of the Pope.
Right. Worse. We'll give him that.
Fight the real enemy. Like,
Sinead.
apparently, Sinead O'Connor sounds like Aaron Neville.
Yeah.
Fight the real enemy.
Since when does Aaron Neville sound like Kermit the Frog?
I don't know much,
We're going down a dangerous rabbit hole.
but I know I love you.
No, Frog.
Someday we'll find it.
Somebody name a different positive sounding person.
Connection.
I got nothing.
Lovers, dreamers, and me. Dreamers, lovers, and you.
Okay.
Alright.
I think we've devolved this
Yeah.
now. I don't know what the fuck that was, but it was awesome, but I don't know what
Yeah.
the fuck it was, so.
Kermit,
Shameless
Kermit, Chewie, and Yoda. Not Yoda.
But no,
we got there from bands fighting.
Yoda doing yoga.
We know what he's doing after the podcast.
Alright, before we wrap the show up, shameless plugs you guys have coming up.
So we got.
Yeah, we're breaking up.
Yep.
This was the final straw.
Yeet.
So
Well, no,
next,
we are breaking up. Reunion tour when Private
Super
Drive.
group. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
We got
Yeah.
a super group coming up.
Yep. So there is that private drive after the sun show next week on June 29th. There's the tickets. We got pre-sales.
Now with
I literally have
100%
them
less
in
Ryan.
this jacket all the time. But yes, private drive
going
after
to
the sun are
Madonna
reuniting. Odd Life is playing after us as well, and I have heard that there may or may not be an Asking Abby type of song or two.
Oh,
I
nice.
Can neither confirm nor deny. So, for anybody that was into that.
Oh, cool.
But so if it doesn't happen, nobody kill me. I don't know 100% if that's gonna happen. But yes, we're opening that show and it's gonna be a fun time. That's next week Friday, and then after that, we're kind of laying low for a minute because we're gonna try to get some more songs written, and then our next show after that is gonna be Four Winds. Down at Icon, that big festival that Corey has every year, and that is September 21st.
Awesome. Because I hosted that last show. It was super fun. It was just,
Nice.
I'm pretty stoked for it. I know the lineup's pretty sick. So.
yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys
Yeah,
so much
thanks
for being on
for
the dress
having us,
code. I really
appreciate
appreciate it. And it was a fun time. And I hope you all watching or listening, I don't know, either one, enjoyed yourselves. And Robert, do you have anything you'd like to plug as well?
Just remember the SueEmpire.com is a great place to get all your podcasts and some new exciting news. And you may be listening to this on Live 605 streaming radio. All of our podcasts are now streaming on there, along with a bunch of great local music. So be sure to check that out.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Robert, again for
Thank
this.
you.
And thank you, Matthew, Nick, John, Ryan. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on
The
Dress Code.
Yeah.
Thanks.